What a time for video game movies, am I right? So Resident Evil finally dropped its first teaser after premiering it at CinemaCon a couple weeks ago. Now, I admittedly am not a Resident Evil fan. I've not played the games. I've seen like half of the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, which I guess are fine for what they were at the time, but they were never really my thing. And then I never saw the last movie, Raccoon City, and even though I know it has its fans, it seemed like one of those movies that kind of came as quickly, or excuse me, left as quickly as it came. But even though I'm not a Resident Evil fan, I'm a Zach Cregger fan. And when I heard that he was going to be the one helming the new Resident Evil, I became the most curious about it. When I say I become the most curious about it, I'm not saying that I'm the most excited for this movie. I was the most curious about this movie. Well, this teaser did what teasers are supposed to do. It took what anticipation I did have for this movie and it bumped it up to the next level. It didn't throw too much at us. It was just enough to get me hooked on in. So this teaser showcases Austin Adams, who was in Cregger's last film, Weapons. He plays Brian, who's a medical carrier, forgot what it's called. I'm assuming that he is transporting perhaps maybe some kind of antidote throughout the film because he is our central character. He is rushing through what seemingly is like a snowstorm, and this movie apparently is taking course over one singular night. Cregger did state that even though this is an original idea, this film does take place during the second game. I guess it's just on the other side of Raccoon City, which is why it doesn't feel as familiar, I guess, if you've played the games. Anyways, in the teaser, Brian takes a phone call in a seemingly abandoned house, and he speaks to or leaves a message for what we can assume is a significant other, essentially telling her, I'm in a fucked up situation, and we may never speak again.
And it looks like there's a chance that we might not get to talk to each other again.
Afterwards, for the remainder of the teaser, it's essentially Brian being chased or trying to escape whatever creatures are going to be showcased in this film, which some people refer to them as zombies, some refer to them as infected. I'm not exactly sure on the correct terminology because, once again, I'm not schooled in Resident Evil. Now, this does showcase something that Cregger did state not too long ago about the movie, which is essentially it's going to be a 90-minute, high-octane, chased survival horror. He also stated that it's going to follow one singular character, assuming Austin Adams Brian, through the course of the entire film, and it's going to be his character going from point A to point B. No additional subplots, no time jumps, nothing like that. Now, this teaser is less than 2 minutes long, which is slightly longer than what most teasers are, but it's still not long enough to be a full length. It gave us mostly a bit of a sizzle reel with the additional dialogue that I had just mentioned. Granted, it was enough to make fans of the game angry because it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake of, well, the video games itself. But there's plenty of other videos that you can watch if you feel like indulging in that. Cregger stated, I believe it was at CinemaCon, maybe beforehand, that this movie is going to be loaded with Easter eggs that Resident Evil fans are going to spot. However, knowing Cregger's style, I kind of feel like it's going to be sort of a blink and you'll miss it sort of a thing. But once again, I haven't seen the movie, so I really couldn't even tell you. However, this trailer got me excited for Resident Evil, which I've never felt before. It's actually made me kind of feel like I should go check out the games a little bit more, or at least somewhat educate myself on the lore and the bigger story. That way, when I go in and see this, maybe I can actually understand some of the Easter eggs rather than have them just go over my head. This movie comes out in September, so it being May now, it makes sense they dropped this first teaser. I would assume we'll probably get our first full length maybe in a few weeks, perhaps maybe at least by the end of June, beginning of July. But that goes back to however they plan on doing the marketing for this film. I mean, Krager described this movie as the Fury Road of horror movies. I mean, how does that not sound badass? I know that I'm really fucking stoked for it. Anyways, guys, the teaser was very quick. There wasn't a whole lot there, but for me personally, it was enough to get me hooked. And I think that Krager is trying to do his best to make something that's going to appease both Resident Evil fans and then the casual movie-going audience like myself, who's not like schooled in the lore of Resident Evil. I know this was quick. This teaser got me hyped and I thought it'd be fun to make a video about, but are you guys excited for this? What do you want to see this movie do that the other adaptations haven't? Do you think that Krager's going to pull off something cool? Or do you think that this movie is probably just going to be another run-of-the-mill zombie movie? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe if you feel all the most generous. We appreciate it. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.